Yeah, it's always fascinated me that just not driving a race car, playing offense and defense and a chess game. They know, these drivers know what they're doing, whether they're trying to make their car the best possible or perhaps hurting the car behind. But you mentioned line sensitive and the bottom or the top. We had a little chance we heard from Martin Truex Jr., and he was upset specifically with the 17 and how he treated him in traffic in the closing laps.
5 did a 19. 949 to go. 17, man. He's such a 3x5 did a 19. He's starting to reel the 2 in right here, so be smart. Him off the bottom.
And I'm preaching. I'm trying to get all the help I can. He's shaking his head, yeah, but obviously the driver ain't relaying the same message.
Just going to put the 19 with his 3 back right here, south side. 2 back 19 closing. Give us 19 on lane. He's up top, outside.
Well, far back, he affects the next car. He's not racing anyone. Clear low. All clear, all clear.
Thank you, 17.
One hell of a fight, MTJ. Proud of you, buddy.
Sorry, man. Hell of a job. Great job. You're the only thing that kept us in it all day. 17 cost that race call.
Yeah, I'm a lot frustrated. You know, lap cars, they have no respect for the leaders running for the win. It's completely uncalled for, ridiculous. It's a shame, you know, we lined up on that last restart behind all those guys that were lapped down, and I know they were racing for the lucky dog, which is all good, but once they got strung out, the 17 had a straightaway on all of me, and he just wouldn't let me by. He just kept hugging the bottom, and knew that's where I needed to run. I kept telling, you know, my spotter kept telling his, we need the bottom, and, you know, these cars are they punch such a big hole, and it's so bad and dirty air that he just completely killed us for, you know, 25, 30 laps, and to the point where my front tires were gone once I finally got by him, and hell, I still run down the 2 in 2 laps from half a straightaway. So we clearly had the best car, and we're in position to win. You know, it's just guys a lap down have to have a little bit more respect than that.
So I know you two drivers are going to have an opinion on this. So I'm going to go first, though. That is a crew chief. I obviously can't control where my driver runs, but I would be on the radio. I'd have been Cole Pern yelling at the spotter, get us some help, because it's all I could have done, right? I can't drive a car for you. I'm trying to work traffic. But what's the etiquette? Is the 17 in the right? Is the 78 in the right? Where do you see this?
So listen, we talked about the rules when this show started, right? And I think all the teams and drivers are still learning what these rules are. And with the different rules, the etiquette will change. Like when Martin Truex Jr. is 10 car lengths behind a guy, is he far enough up on the 17 to ask the 17 to move? Like, that's something that is going to be difficult. They'll start figuring that out. I agree with what Martin was saying. Once Stenhouse cleared himself from the guys he was racing for the wave around, being the first car 1 lap down, as the guy running second, I would have appreciated a break. I would have appreciated, hey, you know, come on, man, let me race for this win. It's not going to hurt you to move out of your way. I understand where he's coming from. At the same time, I understand where Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and his team are. They're trying to build that program. They're trying to get Roush Fenway Racing back to where we all think it should be, and he's paid to drive his car as hard as he can every single lap. I see both sides of it, and I have a little bit of feelings about both ways. So depending on which situation I was in, I could go either way.
And let me be clear, the 78 is really the 19. I really wish they would have changed paint schemes, because I'm going to have it the 78 probably till at least May.
Yeah,
but it's the 19. Call it whatever you wish. Where do you stand on it?
You know, here's the thing is you don't have many friends out there. You're all competitors racing against each other. Do you appreciate a break every once in a while? I think so. I understand Martin asking for that to happen. But here's the thing. You can ask that. If it happens, that's good. But don't get on TV and talk about that's the reason that you lost the race. Brad Keselowski went and made his moves early on and went.
Same cars.
On the outside. He went wherever he had to go to get himself in that position. And I'm fine with Martin being upset about it. Just don't get on here and tell everybody that that's the reason that you lost the race, that you had the better car. You should have either found a way around him on the outside or just said, you know, I'm frustrated. I understand the frustration. You know, we've all been in that position that we would have liked a little bit of help, but there's nothing out there saying that that anybody has to give you that help. Now, it might come a time when those roles are reversed, and Ricky Stenhouse might be a little upset that he doesn't get the help that he's looking for in a situation very similar to that, and he might have wished that he'd have done something a little bit different. But, hey, be upset. talk among your team all that you want to, but I wouldn't have got on TV and said that. I just said that we couldn't get around there because of the package, the way the rules are now, because of how difficult it is in closing up on that car and making happen what you need to.
So we've all mentioned the rules, and I'm not ready to have the gavel hit the wood yet and decide what the real answer is, because I think every
one race, man.
one
Come
race,
on.
I know.
You have to make your
but
mind
one thing I do think is clear already is are we ever going to see a time where restarts are more important? I mean, I don't think it could have ever changed, but it seems like as these teams, as these drivers, as everyone, Brad Keselowski, it seemed very clear to me when they dropped the green, he knew that was his moment. Right? Like he drove, there was still 30-something laps to go in the race, but he drove like it was a green-white checker, right? He drove knowing that was his moment to capitalize. I think all the drivers are thinking that. If not, they're going to rewatch this race and definitely see it.
Well, you heard Martin Truex Jr. talk about how hard it is to pass, and that means that when you have new tires, fresh tires, and you can get 3 wide with somebody, you better be doing it. And I think that what we saw Sunday was I thought the restarts were crazy. I thought once it got spread out, it looked like a typical Atlanta race, but the restarts were more aggressive, and I think that's why. Because if you can get in front of a guy, it's going to be really hard for him to get back by you. I see that intensifying this coming week in Vegas. I think restarts will be more important. So, yeah, look right here. I mean, this is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to be aggressive and push the issue because this is when you can make it happen.
Yeah, and I think Brad ran back in there enough knowing that his car, because it was only the last 100 laps of the race that this 2-car really showed up and got himself in a position. And I think he knew, lap car or not, he was going to have a difficult time. So he knew he had to make it happen right at that point. If he was going to have any chance, I don't know if he knew that he had the chance to go past the 22 and the 1 at that time, but if he was going to have any shot and not use up any more of his car than what he did going around the outside there, then he had no shot. So I think more drivers are going to pay attention to that. I think strategy is going to become even more important. I think we're going to see cars under green flag stops, crew chiefs, whoever's willing to hit there first, they're going to drag in a whole lot and making no mistakes. We've always talked about this, giving yourself a chance, but when you make a mistake, it's going to be much more difficult to recover from that.
Hey NASCAR fans, thanks for checking out the NBC Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe below for the latest NASCAR news, race highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.